Mayong adlaw mga bisoy. For this video, we are going to react on a very popular discussion on who is better. The 73 wins Warriors or the 72 wins Chicago Bulls team. Now, this is very popular because both of them are very good legendary teams. As I mentioned, 72 wins Bulls hold the most wins for a long time, probably for 20 years, until the Warriors in 2016 won 73 games in the regular season. So if we are going to hypothetically make them play each other in a 7-game series, who would win? Now, again, because this is hypothetical, it's very hard to really know. But basing on the way they play and the players that they have, and also the style of each of the players, we can more or less have a discussion on who can win if they are going to play in a 7-game series. Now, first we'll look into their players. Now, each of the team's players, also their bench players, so that we will check who has the better team as far as the composition of the team is no? As far as on paper, no? On paper, who has the better team? Now, we can see that the Warriors have Stephen Curry. Okay, you have Klay Thompson. These are two very deadly three-point shooters. And you have Harrison Barnes, their 3 and D player. No? During this year, Harrison Barnes averaged 40% in three-point shots. And he's a good defender. Okay, very limited offensive player, but a very good defensive player, and he has this three-point shot, which is very important if you're playing with Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson and playing the type of game that they play. And you have Draymond Green, who during this time was a very good defensive player, although undersized, no? 6'5", 6'6" lang, but playing power forward and sometimes center. But during this year, Draymond Green was averaging 33% from three-point range. Unlike now, the last couple of years, he's only averaging 21%. So it's a very big drop from 33 to 21%. So that means during this year, Draymond Green was a legitimate threat from the three-point line. And he, on top of that, he also plays very good defense. In fact, he won Defensive Player of the Year. And you have at center for the Warriors, you have Andrew Bogut. Now, Andrew Bogut during this time was still at his peak. And this is before he had multiple injuries that really sidelined him and cost him his NBA career because of those series of injuries. So this is pre-injury. And Andrew Bogut, although he doesn't have an outside shot, but he is a very good player defensively. He is a rim protector, and he has offensive skills around the basket. So they are a very complete team. But what I believe set the Warriors team apart from the Bulls team is their bench players, because the Warriors team has a deeper team. Okay, after the first 5, You have Andre Iguodala coming off the bench. You have Sean Livingston, Maurice Sites, and Leonardo Barbosa. If you forgot, Andre Iguodala is a two-time All-Star. And during this time, when he was traded to the Warriors, he was still at his peak. So you have a guy with his caliber coming off the bench. So that alone can boost your bench scoring to a level that is hard to surpass during that year. And you have Sean Livingston. He's a 6'7", 6'8" point guard. He is a very hard player to match up because he's playing point guard, and usually point guard is about 6'2", 6'3", and this guy is 6'7", and he has a very polished low post game. So what he will do is when he's carrying the ball and is guarded by smaller point guards, he will just post them up, bring them into the lower block, and he has this turnaround jump shot that is automatic, and it's very hard to block that shot, especially if you are shorter than him, because when he turns around, fades away a bit, you're trying to reach and block a 6'7" guy. That's very hard. And you have Maurice Sites, although he's a center, he's about 6'10", 6'11" center. He is a very good outside shooter. They usually used him in the pick and pop play. Wherein he can set picks, he can screen either Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. Instead of pick and roll, they will do a pick and pop. He will pop out at the top of the key, the 3-point area, and he has a very high percentage at that area. Then you have Leonardo Barbosa. He's a speedy guy. This guy is from Brazil. He is a very fast player. And during this time, although he's a little bit past his prime, but he was still a very, very good quality player. And you have this set of guys coming off the bench. And we could argue that this set of players can actually start in most NBA teams. In fact, Andre Iguodala is a starter when he was in Philadelphia, even with the Nuggets team. And Sean Livingston, before he got injured, he was a top young player in the NBA. Maurice Sites is a solid starter in other teams. And Leonardo Barbosa was playing with Steve Nash during their time with the Phoenix Suns. So you can say that these are a very solid, good, powerful team. So I could say that they have an advantage as far as depth is concerned, because they are a deeper team. They can go to 10 players. So that means that's why they can sustain a very long winning run, because they don't depend solely on their starters. They can rest them, and the second stringers can actually do a very good job. But when we go to the other team, the Chicago Bulls, the 96 Chicago Bulls, you're looking at Ron Harper at point guard. This guy is 6'6", 6'7". He is also an all-star. And although he is a little older now, but he is actually a couple of years younger than Michael Jordan. And he is a hyper athletic guy, especially the first early days of his NBA career. In fact, when he was in Cleveland, playing for Cleveland Cavaliers, he was like a Jordan stopper because they're of the same height and their skill set is almost the same. He's like a poor man's Jordan. He's a poor man's Michael Jordan. And he can play defense. This guy is always a top defender in the NBA because his length. This guy is very long. He's very quick, very athletic. So even if he's tall, but he can actually go and run with the faster point guards of the other team. Then you have Michael Jordan. Dili lang ta magstorya unsa is Michael Jordan, kibaw na jud ta. We know who Michael Jordan is. We know that there are a lot of people that would claim that he's the GOAT, greatest of all time. But yeah, he is part of this team. He is the heart and soul of this team. And as we know, Michael Jordan is a supreme scorer. Okay, we have not seen a more complete offensive player than Michael Jordan. Seems like he has no weakness. He can shoot it from the outside, mid-range, inside, free throw, you name it, he got it. And you have Scottie Pippen, his sidekick ni Michael Jordan. And, he is a Hall of Famer. No, we cannot talk about Michael Jordan and the Bulls without talking about Scottie Pippen, because he is the defensive anchor of this team, together with Dennis Rodman, who's playing power forward with this team. No, as we all know, although Rodman is a very flamboyant, very mysterious, reckless, player, very problematic player, especially with the teams that he had after Detroit Pistons team, where he started. Dennis Rodman is a very, very good. You have Locke Longley, also an Australian player who is 7'2". He's not really a rim protector. If you want to define a rim protector as somebody athletic and can guard the rim, but he's a good positional defender, no? May siya mo position siyang self, kibaw siya mo position siyang lawas so that he can have a good defensive stand. So it's very hard to score against him when it comes to the low post. And he's 7'2", diba? It's hard to teach a 7'2" guy. No, you cannot teach height, diba? So, and when we look at their bench, although their bench is not that significant, no, you have probably the most significant player off the bench is Toni Kukoc, their Croatian superstar, who is about 6'10", 6'11" player who plays guard in Croatia, but he's asked to play either power forward or small forward with the Chicago Bulls. And you have Steve Kerr, their spot-up shooter, who is currently the coach of the Warriors. So you're looking at their bench, and it's kind of shallow, although they have Robert Parrish, Hall of Famer, former player of the Boston Celtics. But during this time, he's already 40 years old. No? So he's not really playing that much during the regular season. In fact, I hardly see him. Ang error siya siguro pang encourage sa mga young players, no? Encourager na lang ni siya. Motivator na lang siya sa bench. So if you are going to compare the bench players of the Chicago Bulls and the Warriors, you can say that the Warriors have the upper hand. But if you look at the first five, there's no there's really no comparison. Although the Warriors are a very good offensive team, I think their motto, their mantra is the best defense is offense. But as we all know, in a 7-game series in the playoff, in the championship, defense is what wins games. You can see it in the playoff. No, the team that plays more defense usually wins the game. And if we are going to look at and focus on defense, we cannot discount the fact that this Bulls team that won 72 games is probably the best defensive first five in all NBA. You're talking about Ron Harper, who is 6'7", Michael Jordan, who is 6'6", and Scottie Pippen, who is about 6'9", 6'10", and very fast, very athletic. It's very hard to actually score against them as far as the wing is concerned. And if you look at the offensive production of the Warriors, usually it comes from Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Okay, those are their two offensive players, and they are wing players. They attack from the wing, and if that is their strength offensively, that is also the strength of the Bulls defensively. In fact, during this year, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman are first team all defensive. That means 3 of their players are part of the best defenders in their position. That's a very hard thing to do. I think it's only them, if I'm not mistaken, it's only them that was able to achieve that. In one team, you have 3 players that is part of the mythical first 5 all defensive. So it's really hard to score against them. We always talk about Michael Jordan, a scorer, and all that stuff, but the Chicago Bulls as a team is one of the best, if not the best, defensive team the NBA have ever seen. So if we are going to play a 7-game series, kadaog ani, Bulls good. Okay, magbinasaya na ta, kay bisoy ta. Kung imo gud tan-awon, kung inyo tan-awon ning Bulls good, ingon man gud sila nga maglisod kuno ang Bulls, maglisod kuno og duwa sa bag-o nga style sa NBA nga pas-pas kayo, 3-point shooting and all that stuff. Small ball. But kung imong tan-awon ang Bulls can actually play and excel in all eras, in all different style. Because if you are going to say na you're going against a big team, like a team against Shaquille O'Neal, a team that has Hakeem, a team that has Charles Barkley, a team that has Malone, this Chicago Bulls team can play with them. And in fact, they won against those players. They won against those teams whose focal attack is their bigs. But if you say that dili naman na uso ang tall ball karon, small ball naman. Ang Bulls actually can convert themselves into a small ball. Kuhaon nila Longley, himuon nilang center si Rodman, and si Tony Kukoc, himuon lang power forward. So you have quote-unquote small ball, but actually it's still a tall ball because your point guard is 6'7", your other guard is 6'6", your wing player, si Pippen, is 6'9". Dennis Rodman is about 6'8", 6'9", and you have still a Tony Kukoc who is 6'11". So bisag small ball mo, everybody can run Everybody has a lateral movement. Everybody can shoot, except probably Radman. But still, you don't compromise on the length of the team. But if you're looking at the Warriors, you have Steph Curry 6'3", Klay Thompson 6'7", Harrison Barnes 6'8", Draymond Green 6'5". If they are going to apply their small ball, Andre Godola 6'5". So you're looking at a medyo na-compromise ilang length. No, and then again, ang ilang focal point is their perimeter players, and ang focal point naman sa defense sa Bulls is their perimeter defenders. So lisod kayo niya imong tanawon mo kanang style sa Warriors nga style karon nga switch all position, mo switch all position. No, positionless basketball team, positionless dynamics of the team, defense and offense. May kayong Bulls na way. May kayo. No? Si Harper, makaguard ni siya sa point guard hantod sa small, big forwards. Si Michael Jordan, mo gyapon sa usaon ni mo silang switch. They can defend all positions. I-switch nimo si Michael Jordan og forward, kuha niya. I-switch nimo og guard, mao gyapon, ma-dominate gyapon niya. Radman samot na. Kibaw mo si Radman during the time nga nagduwa ang Pistons og ang LA Lakers. Siya nag-guard ni Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson point guard ba siya? Siya nag-guard ni Magic Johnson. Katusang nag-contrast ang Pistons og ang Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, siya mo bantay either ni Michael Jordan or ni Scottie Pippen. So that means Radman is a very versatile defender. Hantod na si Tony Kukoc, point guard ni siya ngadto sa Croatia. So naanad ni siya og gwardiya og mga paspas. And naanad siya gwardiya sa mga dagko kay taas man siya, 6'10 man siya, 6'11. So you're looking at a team that can actually transcend any era in the NBA, in the history of the NBA. So kung akong maingon nga ang Bulls dili lang makalupig sa Warriors, but ma-dominate nila ang karon, ang modern nga NBA. Kung maingon ka nga ang Warriors katong time ni Durant compare sa Bulls, kana dul-duol na lang na siya. No? Dul-duol kay even if mag small ball ang Warriors, naagya pun sila 7-footer naman sa Durant. Okay, mao-ori jud sila. But again, Bulls has Michael Jordan, and they are a defensive juggernaut. The Warriors are an offensive juggernaut, but again, defense would always win against offense in a 7-game series. So mga bisoy, mauna ang ato ang video today. Salamat kayo sa pag-suporta sa atong channel, no? Sa mga ni-subscribe, abot na tag 128 karon. So thank you kayo, no, sa pag-like, pag-subscribe, sa katong mga sigig comment. Salamat kayo sa comment, no. Padayon mo comment para ma-encourage ta og himo og mga videos. Okay? Thank you very much.